Welcome back. Some members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria today held a protest in Kaduna, the Kaduna state capital, demanding for the unconditional release of their leader, Ibrahim el-Zakzaky. The protesters walked along major streets of the state capital and later took their protest to the premises of the Correspondence Chapel of the State Council of National Union of Journalists. While the protest lasted, operators of Kaduna Police Command were on ground to ensure that the procession remained peaceful. 8 months ago, Sheikh Zakzaky was taken into custody by security operatives after clashes were recorded between the Nigerian army and members of the Islamic movement.
We are all Zakzaky! We are all Zakzaky!
Some politics now. People in Uromi community in the East Local Government Council area, in Edo State, can look forward now to improve social infrastructure if the All Progressives Congress candidate in the governorship polls, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, is elected. This was made known today at a campaign rally led by Governor Adams Oshomole.
It was one party, one stage, one crowd with one agenda, and that is to convince the people of Uromi in Esan Northeast Local Government area to vote for the party ahead of the governorship election. They believe giving the incumbent party a chance would only be in their best interest. The APC state chairman, Barrister Anselm Ojezua, leads the campaign.
Uromi is not supposed to be a minority. And therefore, I need you to use your PVC to correct the anomaly. Uromi must be part of the mainstream. Uromi must rise above primordial sentiments. Follow APC, vote for Godwin Obaseki and Philip Shaibu, and we will all get to the promised land.
After his speech, the state party chairman goes ahead to introduce the party flag bearer and his running mate in the September governorship election. Mr. Godwin Obaseki says his administration will bridge the infrastructure deficit in Uromi.
I say, trust us. I want to also promise you that we have many more schools that we have not touched. By the grace of God, when we come in, we will refurbish all the schools we have not refurbished. Hold me responsible. We will refurbish Uromi General Hospital.
When he stepped to the microphone, the incumbent governor, Comrade Adams Oshomole, explains why the people should vote for continuity.
I did promise that the Uromi child does not deserve to be in a classroom without roof. And I say we will build school. Egbele primary school Uromi, done or not? Ifwe primary school Uromi. Ogbeju primary school Uromi. Ogbeju secondary school Uromi. Correct or not? Uro secondary school, who's there?
The agenda of the APC campaign has been for the electorate to vote for continuity. Whether this will happen or not rests on voters in Edo State.
APC, we are very, very grateful for the things you do for Edo State. APC, we are very, very...
Let's turn to business news now. Here's Emana Amawe.
You first. First Bank.
Many thanks for staying with us and welcome to Business News. As the Central Bank of Nigeria mops up 245.14 billion naira through treasury bills at today's primary market auction, the value of the naira firmed by 1.82% to close at 311.06 against the US dollar at the interbank spot FX market. Secondary trading on bills was, however, weak, with a total of just 50.22 billion naira in 201 transactions. At the FGN bonds window, trading was also sluggish as net total value stood at 3.9 billion naira in 26 deals at the FMDQ OTC Securities Exchange. Yields on fixed income securities have been rising in recent months following CBN's removal of Naira liquidity in a bid to bring back foreign investors. Analysts forecast an upbeat trading session on Thursday. Meanwhile, the central bank has lifted restrictions on the deposit of checks into savings accounts with bank verification numbers. According to the CBN, such check deposits will be limited to 2 million naira per customer daily. The regulator believes this will reduce the number of unclaimed dividends in the country. Other directives issued in the new guideline include the removal of fixed interest rates on credit cards and the discontinuation of address verification in account opening for existing BVN holders. Banks' verification numbers are also expected to be encrypted on all payment cards. The CBN says the new rule aims to strengthen the payment system. And to company news now, Dangote Cement is set to commence coal mining as substitute for gas in cement production by the fourth quarter of the year. This plan was made known today during the markets briefing of the cement giant at the stock exchange. At the meeting, the reasons for diversifying from fuel to coal was explained.
Dangote Cement is Nigeria's stock market leader by capitalization. Its revenue grew 20.6% in the first half of the year, with the group's cement volume soaring about 60% in the same period. However, earnings before interest and tax fell by 10.2%. At this briefing with market operators, the group managing director, Mr. One van der Wedge, explains how the 45.4% margin was realized on lower selling price and higher fuel costs.
Like we are doing in Nigeria, we had to convert our facilities so that they can run on both coal and gas. Unfortunately, the gas and the coal is not yet available. So like here, we have a much higher cost in Tanzania until we have our new plant ready. So that is why this startup loss of Tanzania reduces the profitability in this region.
To remedy the situation, Dangote Cement resolves to begin coal mining at Ankpa, Kogi State, in order to save foreign exchange and de-risk fuel supplies.
With our own coal mine, we want to do our own coal mills. We want to do trucks, we want to do exports. So we are looking at what can help us reduce our dependency of Forex, because once we don't have to import fuel anymore, it will save a lot of Forex for us and for the country. We are looking at a lot of where spending the capex to reduce our costs.
Dangote Cement is currently active in 7 African countries. While Congo and Sierra Leone are anticipated on stream in October, the strategic protection of margins in Nigeria is expected to enhance strong volume growth.
Nigeria's stock market remained bearish on Wednesday, closing lower for the third consecutive session this week. Bisi Adebayo has more.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. It's a third day of bearish performance on the local burst as the all-share index dropped further by 0.52% today in response to more disappointing earnings from quoted companies. The decline was reflected on the price table with 24 decliners against 17 advancers. MRS, Livestock Feeds and Transco were the day's top 3 gainers, while Seplet, Honeywell Flour and 7-Up closed as the 3 major price losers. Volume turnover relatively came in lower against Tuesday's figure as investors traded 301.1 million shares worth 2.34 billion naira in 3,681 deals. The most actively traded stocks were Fitson Healthcare, Fidelity Bank and GT Bank. That ends the stock market reports. I am Bisi Adebayo.
Many thanks, Bissy. Well, at the global equities markets, U.S. stocks finished nicely in the green, while other major bourses closed in mixed sentiments. Let's take a look at some of the numbers. And that's Business News Tonight. I'm Imana Amawe. The news at 10 continues.
You first. First Bank.
Business conglomerates Dangote Group of companies says it has provided over 100,000 indirect employments while conducting its corporate social responsibilities and community developmental projects. Speaking during an inspection of Dangote refinery, fertilizer and east-west offshore gas gathering system by the British envoy of the company, the management of Dangote says the company is poised to provide viable solutions to energy problems in the country.
British Member of Parliament Mr. John Howell and his team arrive in the Free Trade Zone in Ekpe, Lagos, Nigeria. They are here on a visit to the Dangote refinery, fertilizer and east-west offshore gas gathering system. The Dangote conglomerate boasts of serving 26,716 depots in Nigeria alone, 2.72 million accident-free hours without a single lost time injury, with best practices in environmental protection.
And further to the refinery is the logo.
Here they explain the Dangote refining business strategy, safety measures, air emission control measures, raw water source, consumption and conservation measures, solid waste management, safety standards and other Dangote project site activities. The team takes time to inspect the different stages of work at the Free Trade Zone. And here is what the leader of the delegation has to say.
I think this project is absolutely fantastic in its scale and its ambition. It is an amazing project. Just the sheer size of it just staggers belief. And I think the presentation that we've heard about what is going to happen on the site is a fantastic illustration of the change that can occur in Nigeria as a result of investing in this sort of project.
When it's ready, the project, the management of the company says, will be of tremendous benefits to the host community in terms of infrastructure enhancement, direct and indirect employment.
As we start the work, there is going to generate huge amount of employment to unemployed engineers, unemployed graduates, unemployed skilled people. So immediate benefit. Number two, the host community. We are doing a lot of CSR activities. Number three, when we finish this petroleum refinery project, there is no more need for importation of fuel.
And with more private sector participation such as this, the nation's receding economy can only get on the upward turn.
Elder statesman Professor Ben Wabweze has condemned the Justice Okun Abang of the Federal High Court's directive to the Independent National Electoral Commission to issue a certificate of return to Mr. Uche Oga. Professor Wabweze says the exclusiveness of the jurisdiction of election tribunals over election matters is the crucial aspect of the demarcation of jurisdiction between them and the ordinary courts. He said Justice Okun Abang's order directing INEC to issue a certificate of return with immediate effect to Mr. Uche Oga is not only a coup against the Electoral Act, it is also a brazen exhibition of judicial recklessness, of judicial activism run riot, for it defies in a reckless manner the prohibition in Section 141 of the Act. End of quote. Professor Wabweze adds that Mr. Oga falls squarely within this prohibition since he was not a candidate or contestant in the April 2015 governorship election in Abia State, and no votes were cast for him, not even being declared winner of that election by the returning officer under Section 69 of the Act. Next on the news at 10, the Olympic flame arrives in Rio after its 20,000-kilometer tour around the world. We'll have more on this in sports news. Please join us again.